So you guys have got to know how much I love you based on the fact that I turned off my Bruno jamming just to sit and talk to you guys. I was doing my makeup and I had Bruno Mars, I'm still riding the fumes, yes, believe it or not, playing to like pump myself up because it is 10 p.m. now as I sit to film. It's one of those days. Anyways, rambling? Sure. Yeah, so I'm totally jamming out. I was like, I don't want to turn the music off, but I can't film a video if I don't turn the music off. So you guys know that I love you if I would turn down my jams to talk to you. Anyways, coucou mes puces, hello. We are here to talk about eyeshadows today. And eyeshadows, I have to say, is probably the last makeup item I really got into. I don't know, lipstick was definitely the first just because there's so many colors and it's so easy, and I feel like blush is one of those same things where you pick out shades and you just smack it on and for the most part it works. But eyeshadows take a lot of work, and blending sometimes can be a pain and all that kind of stuff, so it took me a while, the floof is back, to get into eyeshadows. But I've recently been super duper into eyeshadows, and these Wet n Wild palettes that we're going to talk about in a minute have been a huge contributor of that. So if you want a quick answer, why is the floof all of a sudden everywhere? If you want a quick answer as to whether or not these are a go or no go, they're definitely a go. Between the three that I have here, if I were to recommend one, it would definitely be Comfort Zone, and I don't feel like I'm the only one. When I raved about this in a video earlier this week, so many of you jumped up and said that it was one of your favorites too, and even between your high-end stuff, this one still was awesome. So I'm going to walk you through them in a minute and do some swatches. But before we do that, we got to talk about this makeup because I'm going to show you. Hold on. So this is the Poster Child palette, which is this guy. And so it's on my eyes, and I feel like this is what happens when you do your makeup at 10 p.m. at night. You end up with these like Power Ranger / Transformer kinds of colors. I do like it. I just think I wasn't expecting it to look, I don't know, so like I feel like a Power Ranger. Anyways, I do love it though, so thank you, Sissy, for sending it to me. I also wanted to show you my hand because on my lips today, underneath my lipstick, is this BH Cosmetic lip pencil in Nude. And it's the bottom one. The top swatch is my beloved Nice and Spicy pencil by MAC, and I know the BH Cosmetics one is a lot cheaper. So I just want to show you this little dupe because I thought sort of awesome and you guys should know about it. And what's the other thing I want to tell you about? Oh, on my face, I haven't been wearing foundation this week, just some concealer to hide some spots. I broke out, I don't know why I put it back in the box, but I broke out my Physicians Formula Concealer RX that April also sent me. If you haven't seen our swap, I'll link it down below. But this is phenomenal. It honestly hides everything. It is super thick. I would say that the colors run light, so this looks like it's quite dark, but it was a little bit light for me. I prefer light, so it's perfect, and April knows me way too well and sent me like one that pulls a bit more pink, which is awesome. This is fair to light, but I would say that the color on the packaging is deceiving, so don't go by that because it is a lot lighter than the color on the packaging. Is that all I want to tell you about this face? I think so. Okay, I'm going to zoom you back out and because this is a strange angle, and we'll talk about the rest of the palette. Okay, so like I said, this week I've played with all three palettes. I've created a look with each. The look I have today is from the Poster Child palette, so let's start with that one, and I'll do some swatches for you guys. Each palette comes with 8 different colors, and then embossed into them, let's see if we can do it close. I don't know if you can see that, but embossed are the words definer, crease, eyelid, and brow bone. So you're supposed to be able to follow through and come up with a look. I am a rule breaker, as you well know, so I've jumped around, but if you were to follow the straight line down, they'll create a really lovely look. The other thing that these come with is a little brush. It has the very typical sponge tip applicator on one side, and then like a little tiny flayed brush on the other, if you can see that. But I think it'll be okay on the go, on the fly, but I don't know if I would use it sort of all the time type thing. And so what I do have to say about the way these are, they are super pigmented, obviously some more than others. The brow bone shades tend to be a little bit less pigmented. And in terms of fallout, I found that they're not super stiff. Like, you do get a little bit of fallout, but if you tap out your brush, you're sort of really fine in terms of fallout. I saw these online for $4.68 on the Walmart website. I'm imagining the Wet n Wild website probably carries them as well, but Walmart would probably be your brick and mortar store best bet for finding them. So that's your first quad, I guess, out of that Poster Child, it's on my fingers, that Poster Child palette. This is the second set of swatches. I'm worried my lights are too bright and they're not really picking up the colors. But this is that second quad, which is also what's sort of on my eyes today. As you can see, it's sort of by my knuckles is that brow bone shade, so that's really the one that's not showing up super intensely. But it does give a nice little highlight to the brow bone. So yeah, that's the Poster Child palette, which has definitely been one of my favorites to play with, just because you guys know how I like color. I would say if you're scared of color, this is not a good place to start though, because the colors are all super pigmented. So this is not your best bet if you're color shy. Also, the one thing about this palette, I feel like I went all Transformers, Power Rangers on you guys today and went just using these colors, but I do find that if you want, I don't know, like for my Urban Decay Electric palette, which is full of really bright colors, the way I found those looks to be less creative, artsy, and more like colorful, but sort of wearable or like sophisticated a little bit more, is to bring in some neutrals. This palette doesn't have any neutrals, so it's not a one you could sort of carry and use by itself. I feel like to get the best use out of this one, you probably have to carry something a little bit more neutral alongside it. So you could throw like a dark brown in the crease or like a little beige on the inner corner. So that's my only qualm about this palette. It's nothing major, but it's just something I wanted to chat about, I guess. The next one let's talk about is this one, which is Sparkle Till Morning. I had this on in my video yesterday. I'm going to try to insert a little picture visual of what that looked like. But it is such a lovely little palette of neutrals that has that little sparkle in it, which is really nice to have that added sparkle. I found it just gives it a little bit something more, even for a neutral palette, you know, just a little neutral with a twist almost. Just really legitimately don't understand. Like, these are as pigmented as the Marc Jacobs palette. Like, I had the Marc Jacobs Starlit palette. Do you guys remember I swatched that for you, one of my hauls? Like, these are, if not as pigmented, like, if not as, at least as pigmented, if not more. There we go. And this is a fraction of the price. So I just, oh, do you guys see that? The brown shade is a little bit stiff when swatched, but like look at that opacity. Like that's one swipe. This is just ridiculous. And I find that with some quads, they'll swatch out on your hand really well. And then when you go to take them to your eyes, it just loses some of that. Sorry, I'm just wiping because you guys know me, we'll end up with glitter everywhere. This is not one of them. Like I had that problem with the Marc Jacobs palettes. The Marc Jacobs palettes, are like 70 bucks or something up here. At $60–70 mark, and I was so disappointed with them because they either weren't as varied in color, or they were varied but the pigmentation wasn't what it should be. These guys are all super pigmented, super affordable, really nice and creamy. And they translate on the eyes. That's what I was getting at. I was like, wait, there was a point to, or the initial point of this ramble. They translate on the eyes. They don't only swatch beautifully on your hands, but they're just as pigmented on the eyes. Of the three, this is definitely my favorite. I didn't think it would be. It's the Comfort Zone palette. Again, I'm going to insert that little close-up from the video the other day. What I have been most impressed about, which you don't notice unless you get really up close and personal with this palette, is that a lot of these shades are duochrome shades. So there's a shade in here that's very similar to Max Club, one similar to a new NARS eyeshadow whose name is eluding me at the moment, but it has such depth that you wouldn't think you would find necessarily in a drugstore, or I didn't think I would find in a drugstore palette. First four colors, and again those browns are just beautiful, and the oranges and the, like, it's just, and the kind of sort of duochrome sheen that it has to it. I hope you guys are seeing that on camera. It's just absolutely phenomenal and just way exceeds my expectation for this price point. Okay, I did a hugely lovely job of swatching these, but that last one, wait, this one is the one that's super similar to Max Even's blue-brown pigment, which is so much more expensive, just as one pigment as opposed to this whole. I think the one pigment's like over $20, and this is a whole palette for $5, and you have that gorgeous color in it. But that's that last four from the palette. Just went wild. Where have you been this past year? Or where have I been and not getting my head in the game? I absolutely love these. I highly recommend them all. Again, if you want to try one of the three that I had here today and you sort of just want to try the one, I would definitely go Comfort Zone all the way because it has enough neutrals that it will give you a really lovely soft look, but it's got those really great duochromes that will give you a pop of something extra and some color. I cannot highly recommend these enough. If you guys have other palettes from Wet n Wild other than these three, because they make obviously more than three, let me know what you recommend. I think April, you've created a monster and I will need a bunch more. Or if there are other hidden gems of the drugstore that you highly recommend. I have not been a huge drugstore girl for a variety of reasons, and yeah, I'd love to get more into it. If there are products like this that have been hiding out on me, who knows what else is at that drugstore. So yeah, leave me any of those good recommendations down below. In case I forgot anything, you have any more questions, obviously, in that comment section. I think that's all I want to tell you about these amazing, amazing quads that are making me excited about eyeshadow. Let's do 3 points of positivity and then I will go edit so we get this up in time. My first point of positivity is I had a lovely dinner with my mama tonight. They opened a new pizza place. It's like a Napolitan, I'm gonna get that so wrong, style pizza, like really thin, sort of chewy. It was super, super good. So we did that for dinner and it was really amazing. My second point of positivity for the second day in a row is just listening to great music on repeat. I've had a stressful couple days and it's nice when great music can sort of just transport you, take you away for a minute, right? Make you forget. So it's been a second day of a row of that, which is awesome. And my third point of positivity is these awesome drugstore makeup products that are giving the high-end brands a run for their money. So be it the BH Cosmetic lip pencils or the Wet n Wild eyeshadows, I have been loving this drugstore life, and I think we're going to have to be spending some more time in those drugstore aisles. That's it for me today. Let me know what is making you smile for sure. Let's share in that happiness. Let's all uplift each other together. We got that out. And I love you so very much. Thank you for being here, for showing so much support and love and all that amazing circle of friendship type stuff. Okay, before I get any weirder, I'm gonna leave you for the day. And before I do that, before I leave you, I'm gonna remind you that life is just too short to wear boring lipstick. Bye guys.